Welcome to the Bear Bets Podcast. I am Geoff Schwartz alongside Chris the Bear Fallica and Sammy P. We are here to talk to you guys today about college football betting strategies, how to wager on college football. And Bear, lead us off.
Well, a lot of the things that we're going to talk about here, people who have been following, watching, listening to us for years and years in our various locales, and certainly since we've been together, a lot of it seems like common sense and a lot of things that you're already doing and know how to do and keep doing it, obviously. But for people who maybe just happen to stumble upon all three of us, or just looking to get the itch into getting involved in sports gambling, just a couple of things, a couple of helpful hints that we like to do here and there to help you make a winner. And again, the first one seems obvious. Just make sure you always shop around and look for the best possible number. It seems easy. It seems simplistic or remedial, but equate it to going grocery shopping. Why are you going to pay $5.99 a pound for a piece of meat at a grocery store when you can go to another one and pay $5.49? You always look for the best price. Why are you going to lay 4 minus 117 or whatever at one place when you can lay 3.5 minus 110 somewhere else? Always make the number of books and the number of outs that you have is vital. The more you have, the better chance you have of getting the best possible number.
Sammy, what is your college football betting strategy?
Understanding the schedule. Believe it or not, the games don't come out the day of the game. They are actually lined in Vegas at Circa. Circa opens them up on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, the day after all those games. So these have a whole week to sort of get batted around. And the limits are very low early. You could not bet $10,000, $20,000 the previous Sunday or Monday. But what bookmakers will do, they will take those early moves from respected players and they will move the number and move it rapidly. So if a total opens at 51 and they see sharp accounts hit under 51, they're moving it to 50 or 49.5. And then the limits go up later in the week. These numbers are basically shaped into form, but those initial positions help them get to the right number. Basically, the goal of a sports book is to open the game on Sunday and then have the correct number by Saturday when everybody wants to tee off on you. So it's a massaging of the number by the books until they feel okay about Wednesday, Thursday, jack the limits up, and then it's a free-for-all.
How does someone who is new to wagering follow the line movement?
Aside from watching Bear Bets,
yes,
right?
Of course, yes.
Odd screen. If you don't have an odd screen, I would look into it. We all use one. There are free ones out there. There are paid ones out there. If you don't want an odd screen, check what the lines are on Sunday night or Monday morning. Write them on a piece of paper, and then you always have your North Star. You must know, and Bear knows this, you must know where numbers were and where they are.
What about betting splits? Let me talk about betting splits. How much do you pay attention to betting splits as the numbers move?
Zero.
Good answer.
Yeah, and it's something where you don't always want to be on the side opposite the public money, but I think there are instances where maybe you see what I like to term the underdog with fleas, where you get a very popular upset. But remember the college football playoff last year? Tennessee over Ohio State was a very popular upset pick, it seemed, and the number really wasn't moving. They were, you want to bet Tennessee? Fine, and you saw ultimately what happened in that game. So I like to. That is when it comes to betting splits and knowing a public side, when there is a big underdog that's getting a lot of support by a lot of talking heads and maybe not necessarily sharp and smart bettors, I like to take note of that and maybe potentially hop in on the other side.
Is a good way to summarize that? Don't be contrarian, Bear.
See, I like being contrarian. I don't like being necessarily on the public side the entire time. I don't think it's a bad thing to be contrarian at times, and I think you guys know we've had this conversation as well, and I've spoken to Chris Andrews, the guy at South Point, about this. The legendary odds maker. I should pay respect on Chris Andrews' name. And like a lot of times, betting, it's a little counterintuitive to what you might think. If you see a 2.5 point favorite or a 6.5 point favorite, a lot of people will be like, okay, well, I'm going to lay that because 7 and 3 are key numbers, and if they win by 7 and 3 or 3, we win. Whereas if you lay 7.5 and lay 3.5, if they only win by 7 or 3, you lose. And a lot of times, and Chris believed this as well, is that what you should do, instead of laying 6.5 and laying 2.5, you should be taking 2.5 and taking 6.5 and laying 7.5 and laying 3.5.
My betting strategy is basically don't live and die by the trends. Trends are fun. They are good for research. They're good to point out to your friends and your family, anyone you're talking about with wagering, but it comes down to it. You have to know the why of the trend, right? There are team trends, there are coaching trends, there are player position trends, and there's also situational trends. Some of them hold true, whether it's with a coach, but the coach has to be there for 10, 12, 15 years. A lot of times, guys, we see these trends, especially as you prepare for a season from last season that mean nothing for this season. New coaches, new players, new teams. So do the research on why does the trend exist? Is there a player performance issue? Is there a schematic issue? Why does the trend exist? Don't just wager based on what you see as a trend.
That reminds me of when Jimmy Vaccaro in Vegas once said, I dug up this trend that I thought was super cool. The Cavs were 9-0 in their last 9, and I threw it at him, and he said, trends don't pay the rent, kid. Okay?
Perfect Jimmy right there. And
I'm so proud of that trend.
this guy, I think they actually made a promo out of that for you. So the one thing I will say about some trends is kind of know what it is. You have a situation where teams change, players change, coaches change, but the type of team doesn't change. Like if you've got a situation where maybe you have an unranked team that's favored over a top 10 or a 15 team, and there's a lengthy history of those unranked teams winning those games as favorites, there's a reason why, because the odds makers know that the power ratings dictate the spread, not an AP or a college football poll rank.
And some trends did pay the rent. Belichick against a young quarterback, specifically a rookie.
Oh, yeah.
James Franklin is a favorite from 7 to 17, hits around 70% or higher. Mike Tomlin is a small dog.
Mike Tomlin is a home divisional dog. I mean, there are some to play, but that's, again, those are trends we're talking about with coaches who coached for a long time at one spot. So here are 3 betting strategies that we've talked about today to follow if you're new to sports wagering. 1 is shop around. 2 is know when to bet. And 3 is don't live and die by the trends. Those are the 3 that we would like to inform you guys about, and hope you guys use them as you start your wagering journey.
Bear Bets full episodes drop twice a week right here on the Bear Bets YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to stay ahead of the odds, and let's celebrate all of our wins together.